Elliot Finch always marveled at the quiet hum of the chrono spanner, a device no bigger than a pocket watch. It wasn't much to look at, brass gears under a crystal face, but it held the power to traverse the vast corridors of time. As an amateur historian turned reluctant time traveler, Elliot had one rule: never interfere. But rules, as Elliot was about to learn, were made to be broken. Elliot's latest jump took him to London, 1853. The air smelled of coal and rain, and the streets bustled with horse-drawn carriages. He was here to observe a peculiar anomaly, an unrecorded inventor named Harriet Vexley, who claimed to have built a perpetual motion machine decades before it was deemed impossible. Slipping into her cluttered workshop, Elliot marveled at the gears and pistons of Harriet's machine. It was mesmerizing, turning endlessly, defying logic. Harriet herself, a woman in her 40s with streaks of soot on her cheeks, looked up from her blueprints. "You're not from around here, are you?" she said, her piercing gaze unnervingly accurate. Elliot stammered. "I'm, just a curious traveler." "Curious indeed," Harriet replied. "Your clothes, your accent, too polished for someone who wanders into my shop uninvited." Before Elliot could respond, the chrono spanner in his pocket began to hum. A warning. Something was interfering with the timeline. He glanced at the machine again and realized Harriet's invention could disrupt centuries of scientific progress, or accelerate it beyond comprehension. Harriet noticed his hesitation. "You know something, don't you? About my machine?" Elliot's mind raced. If he left now, history might correct itself. But if he stayed, could he let such brilliance be buried by time? Against his better judgment, Elliot decided to help Harriet refine her designs. For weeks, they worked side by side, solving equations and fine-tuning the machine. Harriet's gratitude was palpable, but the chrono spanner's hum grew louder each day. The breaking point came when the machine finally worked perfectly. As it spun, emitting an otherworldly glow, the workshop began to shake. Time itself rippled, distorting the edges of reality. "You have to stop it," Elliot shouted. Harriet hesitated, torn between pride and fear. Elliot lunged forward, smashing the machine's core with a wrench. The glow dimmed, and the shaking ceased. Harriet stared at the wreckage, her dreams in pieces. "You knew this would happen," she whispered. "I'm sorry," Elliot said. "But the world isn't ready for this." Before she could respond, the chrono spanner yanked him back to his own time. Elliot landed in his study, breathless. The anomaly was gone, history preserved. But on his desk sat a small gear, impossibly intricate, and a note in Harriet's handwriting. "One day, the world will be ready. Until then, keep turning the gears."